Hey everyone, let's make some sweet dessert today. It's called sweet glutinous rice ball, also known as Troi Nuoc in Vietnam. Here's the ingredients. We have ginger, sugarcane candy sticks, you can find this in Asian market, chopped scallion, green pods only, crushed peanuts, tapioca starch, glutinous rice flour, mung beans, and 2 cans of coconut milk. So before we begin, we're going to soak the mung beans in cold water for 30 minutes until it doubles in size. Before we move to the next step, we're going to let the coconut milk set on the counter untouched. Do not try to shake it. This way we're trying to let the cream and the water to separate from each other. In this recipe, I only use the creamier, thickier parts. So after you open up the can, just scoop out the top parts and discard the water on the bottom. Be sure to be gentle. Now wash and rinse the mung bean in cold water and place them in a pot. Pour over some cold water, about 170 ml of water, or just enough water that it just cover a little bit of the mung bean, about 132 inch of water on top of the mung beans. Now add in about half teaspoon of salt. The salt is going to help the mung bean cook faster and add more taste to it. Mix them well. Cover with the lid and cook on high heat. So remember, we use very little of water. It's going to get boiled very fast. So don't leave it alone. When it boils, open up the lid, skim away the scum. Now we're going to cover back the lid, slightly open, and cook in low heat for about 15 to 20 minutes, or until the beans sucks in all the water and it dries up. That means it's cooked. You look at it, you see right away the beans are dry and it's not smushy. That means it's cooked. Set it aside and let it cool. So when the bean is cooled down, we're going to use the food processor to turn the bean into a paste. If you have a big food processor, you can do it all at once, but here I have a small one, so you're just going to divide them into batches and do it separately until you finish all the beans. Now we're going to season the bean paste with 2 tablespoons or 1 tablespoon of sugar, depending on how sweet you like it. Here I'm using 1 tablespoon of sugar and half teaspoon of salt. Chop green part of the scallions. 3 tablespoons of the creamier parts of the coconut milk. See how thick it is? That's the consistency you want. You don't want a loose one. If you use a liquid coconut milk, it's going to make the mung bean filling all smushy. You don't want that. So that's why I'm using the thicker and the creamier part of the coconut milk. Mix them well together. This makes it so tasty. A little bit creamier on the side and balance out with the salt and the sweetness. Now we're going to form the mung bean into a ball. Depending on your size, you can make a bigger one or a smaller one. So with this amount of mung bean that I'm using, I actually make a lot of extra. So if you have some extra left over, you can just eat it like that. It's very tasty. Okay, now you're going to roll them all into a ball and set aside for later use. Now we're going to mix the flour. In a large bowl, add the glutinous rice flour and the tapioca starch together. Stir them very well to combine them together. In a cup or a bowl, add in about 1 teaspoon of oil. Cooking oil is fine. To 1 1/3 cup of hot water. Not boiling hot water, just hot water. And now gradually add the water little by little and mix the flour and knead the flour until you see the consistency or the I would say the softness of the dough you like it to be. Some people like it very soft, some people like it a little bit firmer. So it's really depend on, you know, the way you like it. Here I like a little bit of a softer side, so I add this amount of water to this amount of flour. It's perfect for me. And always remember to leave about 2 tablespoons of water aside for later use, because after you rest the flour for a little bit, it's gonna get dried up a little bit. Trust me, it will. So make sure you leave 2 tablespoons of water for later use. Cover with the plastic wrap and set aside. In a pot, add in 4 cups of water and put in the sugar and the ginger. If you want it more sweeter, just add more sugar, and if you want more ginger taste, add more ginger to it. Now you're gonna cook until the sugar melt. And after the sugar melt, you're gonna adjust your taste. Here I add in an extra 8 tablespoons of brown sugar to it. You can add regular granulated sugar too if you want to, but don't try to add too much sugar. It's gonna make the syrup very dark. So while the syrup is simmering, bring a generous amount of water to a boil in a separate pot. This water is used to boil the rice ball. Sorry, I missed one clip that I knead the dough again with the 2 extra tablespoons of water. But before you turn this into a rice ball, you're just gonna knead it again with the 2 tablespoons of water and cover with the wet towel during the process of making this, so the flour dough won't dry up. You're gonna flatten the dough. The inner corner is thinner than the outer corner. Place the bean paste ball right in the middle and turn it upside down. Hold it against with your left thumb and then gently pull the dough downward and then gently form it into a ball and seal the end and roll it. And immediately put it in the boiling water to cook it so it keeps the shape, it won't flatten the ball. When you put it in the boiling water, make sure you stir the water a little bit so the ball won't stick to the bottom of the pot. To know when the rice ball is cooked, it will float on top when it's cooked. So now you're going to transfer into the syrup pots and continue to let it stay simmer in the syrup pots until you finish up all the rice ball. Now you're going to cook it into the lowest heat possible for 5 to 10 minutes. Then turn off the heat. This way the rice ball will absorb some of the flavor. Now the last part is to make the coconut cream for the topping. Now remember, we only use the creamier, thickier parts of the coconut. Discard the water on the bottom. We don't need that. For some people, they like their coconut cream to be thicker, so they add in the tapioca starch mixture to it. But in this recipe, I prefer not to, but you can do it if you like to. It's your own personal taste. Now to cook the coconut milk, it's very important to cook it in medium heat, because if you cook in high heat, it gets burned very easily. And just cook it until it become, lightly boiled. But you don't want to cook it for too long, because with the coconut milk, if you cook it for too long, it becomes very oily and you can taste the oil, and you don't want that. Okay, so make sure when it comes to a light boil, turn off the heat. To serve, place the rice ball into a bowl, pour in the syrup, top with coconut cream and roast peanut, or you can use sesame seed. If you cannot finish this in the same day, you can always place it in the refrigerator and eat it for the next day. Just preheat in the microwave for 35 seconds. That's it. Thanks for watching again. See you next time. Bye.